Buddy, welcome to a Friday Facebook YouTube Live. I'm Howard Jacobson. I'm the head of behavioral science at WellStart Health, aka Chief Habit Nerd, host of the Plant Yourself podcast, co-author with Josh Lejani of Sick to Fit. And I'm in the dark today a little bit, and I want to talk about why. So there's two competing theories of sort of social behavior change that I think are very relevant when we're trying to improve our diet, our lifestyle, our habits. And I'm going to talk about them in a minute. But before I do, I just want to mention Josh and I just had an idea and we're moving on it quickly and we're getting a lot of positive response. So I want to throw that out there for you, which is in November of 2019, specifically the weekend of the 15th through the 17th. So starting in the evening of the 14th and then going through the 17th. We're going to be doing something wild and crazy. We're going to have an in-person, very small person immersion near my home in North Carolina. And so it's going to be maybe 12, 15 people maximum, 2.5 days of really ramping into the lifestyle, into menu, movement, mindset, lots of fun activities, lots of learning, lots of laughs, beautiful countryside. We've got horses and goats and donkeys and cows and hiking trails and all that good stuff. We're going to be focusing on how do we eat, how do we move, how do we make it sustainable. There'll be a lot of hands-on one-on-one coaching, group work, be an intense and wonderful experience. And we're putting that out there to see if there's interest. So if there is interest, please email me. You can just email me at hj@plantyourself.com or just comment on this video on Facebook or YouTube. Let me know you're interested. And if we get enough interest, we'll get serious about making it happen. Okay, so now back to the two theories. So one of the theories is we don't want to, hey Elizabeth, we don't want to major in the minors. And this is very important. We don't want to focus all our attention on things that provide us with not that much value, not that much return, or in terms of 80-20 or Pareto principle, to spend all our time on the inconsequential 80% rather than the super important 20%. So an example of this is someone, and we get this a lot in the WellStart coaching program, where people will point to, yeah, like for breakfast, I'm putting a little bit too much maple syrup on my oatmeal, or I'm having maple syrup instead of a banana. Is that the wrong thing to do? And if the person is having trouble losing weight, and that's what they're focused on, we will almost always say, okay, let's leave that alone. Tell us what you do after 8 p.m. And that's when we find out about their crack house, about all the cookies, about the donuts, about the mindlessly eating chips and salsa in front of the television, about the secret ice cream stash. And so then we tell people, don't major in the minors, focus on the important things. On the other hand, we also have the broken windows theory of policing, which is to say, if awkward pause. If you see a broken window, it tells you that the environment is sort of free for all, and it will signal to you that if that is allowed to exist, then other things are also considered lax. So then you can probably get away with spitting on the sidewalk or urinating in an alley or littering. And when you do that, then you start thinking, hey, maybe grabbing some candy from a street vendor is okay. And then, slippery slope into, mayhem and murder. And there is something to this as well. So why am I in the dark? I'm in the dark because of a discussion that I just had with my wife. So we just had our highest energy bill we've ever had. It was almost $200 for the month of July. And that's like a lot more than we usually pay. We have, we have solar hot water most of the time when the sun's shining, then it switches back to electric when we don't. We have a wood-fired stove for winter, so we don't have to turn on the heat that much. We dry our clothes on a clothesline outside. We rarely use the dryer, so we try to be really good. So $194, what the hell? And my wife came in to give me lunch, and I know it's sad. I can't think for myself about going and getting lunch, but that's another story. It's Friday afternoon, trying to get a lot of stuff done. I'm going away for most of next week. Anyway, excuses, excuses. And she comes into the office and she sees that I've got 4 lights on, and I'd been making videos. So you can see right there is my camera hanging on the wall. There's 2 lights there. There's 2 lights right in front of me here that you can't see, but you will see if I turn them on. Ooh. And she's like, do you need all those lights on? And so my first defensive reaction is, it's not the lights, right? So if you look at what uses energy in the house, and so these are all LED lights. So they give off somewhere between 60 and 100 watts of equivalent in terms of lumens, but they're all like 14 to 23 watts. So let's say very conservatively, these 4 lights are a total of 100 watts. So the question is, how much is that costing if I leave these on for an extra hour? And the answer is they're about $0.015 each per hour. So to leave them on for an hour, this is, altogether is $0.015. 100 watts at 15 cents a watt is, what am I doing? It's 15 cents a kilowatt. 100 watts is, I'm nervous because Elizabeth is watching and she knows this stuff. She's a scientist. 15 cents a kilowatt, 100 watts for an hour is going to be about 15 cents per kilowatt hour. So 1/10 of that, 100 watts in an hour, is 1.5 cents. So my answer to her is absolutely correct. Let's not focus on the lights. Let's not major in the minors. But then we've got the broken windows theorem, which is to say, if I'm leaving lights on, and let's say even worse, they're in the house, and everyone's leaving lights on all over in the house, and I have 2 kids who are also at home currently, leaving lights on and seeing lights left on in the house, then the message to them might be, we don't care about saving electricity. And so they'd be more likely to leave lights on in their room, to open windows during the day when it's hot. You know, they're enjoying the fresh breeze in their room, but meanwhile the house is heating up to 90, and so the old train air conditioner is going full bore. Hey, we don't care about lights, so I'll just take these clothes and throw them in the dryer and put it on for an hour till they're nice and fluffy and dry, because, let's face it, hanging clothes outside is kind of a pain. You got to put them in the basket, you got to get the clips, you got to walk outside. It's a good 17 feet from the back door to the spinning clothes thing. It's not the best design. Like you try, you have to like reach under things, and then when it swivels in the ground, and so when you put the heavy pin bag on, it'll always like come and bang you on the head. Definitely not the most fun thing to do, and certainly not easier than just taking it, throwing it in the dryer, turning a knob, pressing a button, walking away, and knowing you don't have to worry about it. And you don't have to look outside and see, oh, is it starting to rain? Or I wonder if it's dry yet, or any of that stuff. So the broken window theory says that these lights are signals of other behavior. So how does this relate to our health habits and our health behaviors? So the answer is entirely found in mindset. So most of us, when we approach getting healthy, losing weight, we have a very seesaw-ish mindset. It's not a technical term. We identify with the goal that we want to get to, but we identify as strongly or more strongly with the old habits that we don't want to change. And so we can therefore oscillate back and forth between, I'm going to be really good, and, I was really good now, and it was sad. I didn't eat a cookie at lunch, and now I feel deprived, so I'm going to go have a cookie at dinner, or worse, or 9 cookies, or, I don't have to go to the gym because I skipped a cookie. So we've got this sort of seesaw-ish mentality. So this is why most people oscillate between terrible and just barely okay. And they never kind of make it to the promised land. Because the closer they get to the promised land, the more they have been depriving themselves. So it's like there's a tether with a rubber band attached to it. And the farther they get from where they were and closer they get to the promised land, the more that tether is stretched and the more the forces that want to pull them back. So in social science, this is known as the ironic rebound effect, which can happen when you do something that you see as good. Like, oh, I sacrificed. I didn't have my cookie. So I didn't put maple syrup in the oatmeal this morning. I just had a little mashed banana, or maybe I had no sweetener whatsoever. I just had it plain with flax because I'm serious, damn it. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to do this better than anyone's ever done it before. And I'm going to give up all my pleasure to lose this weight because that's what it takes. And the ironic rebound is the part of your brain that's going, hey, what about the fun? We just did something really hard. We deserve something good. And so ironic rebound can be a Ben and Jerry's binge that night. And we don't even know why, but our brain is keeping score. And ironic rebound not only happens when we do something, but there's research to suggest that it also happens when we think about doing something. So here's an anecdote that I read in the book, The Willpower Instinct by Kelly McGonigal, about research that was done at McDonald's, where when they added salads to the menu, the sales of cheeseburgers and fries and other unhealthy meals went up. And researchers posited that what happened was people would walk in, they'd stand online, they'd look at all the options, and they'd say, oh, well, that's a salad. That would be a really good thing to have at McDonald's. And they spend 8 to 20 seconds contemplating the salad while they're online. And apparently that's enough to trick their brain into thinking that they actually chose the salad. So, oh, I'm a good person. I had the salad. Maybe I'll just get the large fries and the large Coke along with my cheeseburger. They don't even get the salad, but they're giving themselves credit for having gotten the salad. So the ironic rebound is a very powerful and insidious effect. So what's the solution? How do we get the benefits of not majoring in the minors, of focusing on what's important, but not getting the harms of ignoring the minor things that become broken windows? The answer is mindset. So instead of not putting maple syrup in our oatmeal, so if you see that as, oh, I'm putting maple syrup in my oatmeal, therefore it must mean I don't care about my health, and then all bets are off, right? So it seems like you lose either way. If I have the maple syrup, then I'm telling myself that I don't really care about health and weight loss. And if I don't have the maple syrup, then I'm setting myself up for ironic rebound. So the way we get the benefit of either one, so you can do it either way. You can have the maple syrup or not. Remember, that's the minor. But if you have the maple syrup, you want to make sure you tell yourself that this is part of my plan, that having maple syrup in my oatmeal is part of an overall plan. It's not opposed to it. It's not against it. So, right? So it's all or nothing thinking that makes us think we have to be 100% or nothing. Right? And that's a great way to fail. Instead, we say, here are my rules, here are my standards, and whatever falls within my standards is a positive thing because I've set up my standards so that I will succeed. So the maple syrup in the oatmeal becomes an acknowledgement of, yes, this is permitted within my rules. Now, if you decide not to have it, if you decide, no, I don't want to have sweetener in the morning, then you do the exact same thing. You say, well, what is this telling me? This is telling me that I'm the sort of person who values my health instead of, oh, I'm doing this thing now, right? So embrace and be proud and get positive dopamine in the moment. When you use a banana, mash a banana in, or some dried fruit, or have it plain, you make sure in that moment, if you're feeling deprivation, you sit with that, you do your fast assessment, and you shift it into self-esteem and pride so that there's nothing to rebound off of. So that's all from me for today. I'm going to say goodbye next week. I hope to be broadcasting every day. As I said, I'll be traveling, so it might be a little iPhone-y. It might be shorter. and it will certainly be unpredictable, and I might even miss a day or two, but we'll live. You survived without these for this long. You're gonna be fine. I'm gonna be fine. And don't forget, there's dozens of these. And if you really like the sound of my voice, and you can check out the Plant Yourself podcast. I don't think there's anyone who's watched all 335 current episodes up there. Hey, happy Friday, Tracy. And yeah, and if you're interested again in that retreat with me and Josh and just maybe 12 to 15 people max, you should. There's nowhere to check it out yet. Just let us know so that we know whether to put some energy into making it happen. So the pricing we're looking at is roughly around $850 for an individual, that $1,250 for a couple, and that's all inclusive of meals and lodging. So all you got to cover is your transportation. So if you're interested, hj@plantyourself.com, or let me know in the comments. And if we think we can fill it, then we'll go ahead and take deposits, book the lodgings, and start planning. So I hope everybody has a great weekend. Talk to you again soon. Take care.